second interview today. So once again, welcome to Cafecito. Bienvenido, Cafecito. Un placer estar con ustedes hoy. I did 2 interviews today. First time we've done 2 interviews, Yvonne and I. Lucky for me, it was Ernie, a sax player, and now we have Ernie, a drummer. I want to introduce to you Ernie Durawa. I hope I said that correctly.
You did.
Ernie played with the Texas Tornadoes, with Doug Somm, with Freddie Fender, with Flaco Jimenez, with Willie Nelson, Elvis Costello, and many, many more. You know, Ernie, you appeared in Saturday Night Live with the Blues Brothers. You've been on the Austin City Limits, and you have so many. I was looking at the list, all the movie credits you have. Movies that you've been.
Website.
I have. I've been looking for you.
Yeah.
You have played drums on 2 Grammy-winning albums.
Right.
And with the Texas Tornadoes, you entered the Hall of Fame. And you've been inducted into the Texas Music History Archives. And what really surprised me, because I think it's cute, your recording history includes the Beverly Hillbillies soundtrack.
Well, yeah, the way that happened, what happened was I didn't go to Hollywood to do that. They just took those cuts from our Texas Tornadoes album.
Yeah.
And we had recorded, we did Wasted Days, Wasted Nights with Freddie Fender singing.
Correct.
And so they took that cut from our album and they put it in the soundtrack of the Beverly Hillbillies movie. And there's a scene when Lily Tomlin is pulling up to the gate and that song comes on. And it's us. And for like maybe 10 seconds you feel it. You know?
But you were there.
So the funny part about that is I went to the theater with my wife to see the movie. And I was sitting in the theater, and I wanted to see that part when it came out. And when it came out, I said to my wife, when it came out, I went, "That's me, honey, that's me." And the guy behind me goes, "Shh," shh. Well, he'll never believe it's me, so I'm not going to argue.
That's okay. I attended a jam session many years ago, and you were there. The moment that I was told that you were an Edgewood High School kid, I knew I had to meet you. So there are so many things that I sat there with you. I went out of my way to go and sit you and grab your attention. So you're going to tell me, and our viewers, because the viewers need to know, that you are an Edgewood grad. You went to Edgewood High School. But what others?
Got my Lance.
Really, mijo? Oh, my goodness.
Wait, let me see where it is.
Okay.
Right.
As he looks for his Edgewood yearbook. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
And my picture's in there with my graduation picture.
Yeah, 1961.
I was in the Edgewood Raider band.
Yeah, marching in the parades.
Oh yeah, marching in the Battle of Flower Parade and marching in the barrio there.
Down the streets. Yeah, down the streets. Yeah. Did you ever end up at one of the Wednesday night canteen dances?
I might have played some of those. We played some teen canteens when I was playing with Doug Somm.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to play a lot of those at Edgewood and some of the other schools.
Now, you did attend Edgewood. What other Edgewood schools did you attend?
Well, I went to Coronado.
Oh, you did? Yeah, the old one.
On San Eduardo.
Correct.
That was that's when my dog used to follow me to school there, Murphy. I was named after my dog.
I know. I remember that story. Tell us about it. Tell your viewers. Tell us about Murphy.
Well, my dog Murphy used to follow me to Coronado, and then one day when Murphy died, one of the guys in the neighborhood said, "Oh, Murphy died. Oh man, And then Murphy, we're gonna still call you Murphy, okay?" And it's been that way for all my life. And San Antonio friends, like Pleto, from Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel, yes.
He still calls me Murphy. Some people call me Murphy. Some people here don't know. No, they still call me Ernie. Ernesto, or
Yeah.
But that's the story. And I kept saying, well, I'm glad my dog's name wasn't Fido.
Prieto, Prieto, vaca.
Yeah, right.
Now, I remember you telling me where you slept as a child. Please tell everyone that story.
My mom, my adopted mom that raised me, that's how I got the name Durawa, because really my name is Saldana. My dad was Miguel Saldana. I'm Ernesto. And then when I went to live after my biological mother died, I was only a year and a half. So my dad took me to his sister, which was Virginia, and I stayed there. And 10 years later, he came when he got remarried. He wanted to take me back. Then Virginia, my mom, she said, "Oh no,
He's
he's
ours.
been here for 10 years.
That's right. He's mine.
We're used to having him here." So I was living in the. She had the bar where they had the Mexican conjunto bands playing, and I lived in the back. We had a sleeping quarters was in the back, and at night when the musicians left, they left their instruments there. So I would sneak in from my bedroom into the bar, and I mess around with the instruments, playing around. Not ever knowing that one day I was going to be hooked on one of them.
Yeah.
And it happened. I got hooked on it, and here I am. I'm going to be 80 this year.
Oh my
Can you
God.
believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah, hard to believe. But I'm still playing a lot, and I'm traveling around, and I'm supposed to go play in Canada in August. I'm playing in Newfoundland, Canada, and then on the Indian reservation in Saskatchewan. So I still, but most of my traveling, the main serious traveling days, which I did with Tornadoes, were pretty amazing because we spent so much time in Europe, and then we played in Japan and all over the place. So I'm very grateful and I'm thankful to God that my career has been one that I've had fun and enjoyed it. I don't say that it was always easy. I had my hard
Struggle.
times.
Yeah, struggle.
There's times when I stood in a food stamp line just to feed my kids.
Sure.
It's not like that anymore, though. I'm much better off. I own my house here in Austin, so and I see the rents are gone up so high. I don't even know how musicians can even survive.
I know.
I feel so hard for them, but I'm fine. I'm actually in pretty good shape.
Yeah. Ernie, do you recall any of the names of any of those teachers that you had at Coronado?
Sure.
A ver, ¿de quién te acuerdas?
Coronado.
De Coronado.
Boy,
That's a long time.
I can remember that. I can remember getting paddled at Coronado.
Yeah.
With a paddle, And I wish I had to use a paddle now because that's what's wrong with these kids. They got too much freedom. They don't. I'm glad I got paddle.
Yeah.
It taught me right.
Taught us. Yeah.
Fast.
Yeah.
I remember my teachers at Edgewood.
Okay, I mean, name me a few. See if we.
And my band director was Jesse Gonzalez.
Oh, I remember him. I remember Mr. Gonzalez.
And of course, the most beloved is Sebastian Campisi.
I remember Mrs. Campisi.
Yes.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think Mr. Campisi, I think that just passed away a couple of years ago, and I think she had dementia, and I don't know if she's still alive or not.
No, sir.
But there was Mr. Campisi. He would call me like at 6 a.m. in the morning on my birthday, and he'd say, "Ernie, I want to be the first one to wish you a happy birthday."
Ay, qué lindo. Yeah, that's what teachers
6
do.
in the morning.
Yeah.
So I need to go see him. He's buried there in Fort Sam. And I don't know where I can go find his grave.
I want to take our viewers, our listeners, just on an itsy-bitsy little field trip for you. I want everyone to go down San Felipe, get to Commerce, stop at Commerce, at the light. To the left was a Payless shoe. Now it's a dental office. And to the right is an old barber shop that's been there forever. Where you were raised...
Anguiano.
No, this isn't Anguianos. No, this is another one. That's right there to the right. But across the street, if you're stopped there at the light, across the street you can see this big building made with a big, big rock, and that was Casa Virginia. And that's where your tia Virginia lived, and that's where you lived, right back there.
That house on the corner of San Felipe.
Correct.
West Commerce.
Correct. So I want to.
And then it was hooked up to the bar, which was next door.
Correct.
It's a record store now or something, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't go down there often because the memories are a little bit too painful for me to go down there. And I just, I was born on San Gabriel, brought into this world by a midwife. And the last time I was there, I played the Conjunto Festival.
Ernie, we were discussing the schools you attended. You discussed Coronado, of course, Edgewood High School. You showed us your yearbook. You still have the 1961 yearbook of Edgewood, the Lance. Discussed a couple of the teachers that I happen to still remember.
Mr. Aparicio was my body offender teacher, the last year I didn't take band because I didn't want to march anymore.
Uh-huh.
So my senior year, I said, I'm just going to take body and fender, which I was crazy because I wasn't going to be a body and fender guy. I needed to do something different, you know. And I don't know. I was a troublemaker too, kind of. I played a lot of hooky too. Remember that?
That's the gift of as a musician. Musicians are all peculiar. I thought I need to let you know that.
Yeah, right.
That makes that's the gift that you have. That genius of the music.
It all started there though at my mama's bar, and like I said, you know, I never. And I wish he would have been alive to see that. But you know, when she bought me the set of drums for $75, that someday I'd be playing for the President Clinton. You know.
You know, I saw that you played at President Clinton's inaugural ball in D.C.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
about that.
And at the Kennedy Center in D.C.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it was his first inauguration, and there were a lot of bands from around the country, and each one were in different hotels. And we were, I think, obviously the Texas hotel, and. Well, we were just there among other bands that they were playing there. So I remember they made Secret Service made us stay in our room because they were bringing them in, and we couldn't come out of the room till they went past our hallway where we were.
Uh-huh.
You know, of course we couldn't get close to them. You know, Secret Service was pretty heavy there. But no, it was okay. I mean, it was just an experience. I still have. In my book, I have the backstage passes, pictures of that. Right here, I'll show you. Right there is the inaugural talent.
Wow.
That's my backstage pass.
Yeah.
For the Bill Clinton, and that's the other one that says artist. Artist for the. There's a date. See.
Oh my goodness, I'm looking at the picture of Sauce right next to you. Over here on the other side. I can see Sauce.
Yeah, he's in my book.
Yeah.
Sauce is in my book. And you know, that's me with Bette Midler.
Wow, I see her.
And I see, actually, and of course, you know Jesus, right?
Yes.
Jesus? You know Jesus?
Yes.
Yeah. And Jesus went with me to visit my mom's grave, and this is a funny story. So we were in both cars. We went to San Fernando, and my phone, my phone says, you know, whenever anyone's calling me, it'll say the name of who's calling me.
Right.
So we were leaving the cemetery, right? And Jesse starts calling me. Yeah, you got it, right?
I got it. Keep going.
Yeah. So I'm driving out of the cemetery, and all of a sudden the phone rang, and it says, who's calling?
Jesus.
The phone just said, Jesus is calling.
That is.
And I went, oh
Jesus.
my God.
Not now, Jesus, please.
Jesus is calling him. And I'm leaving the cemetery, right?
I know.
Oh, wow. You know, and I knew Jesus was Jesus.
I know. That's beautiful.
True story.
Now, we just discussed D.C. and the inaugural ball for President Clinton. Where else? And I was reading that you've played in Switzerland. So give me some other locations where you have played.
Well, yeah.
Oh, just a few, because I know it.
Germany and Switzerland. 3 years ago, I actually went back to Switzerland and played the Lucerne Blues Festival in Lucerne, Switzerland. And then one year, these guys from Finland, they called me and they said, hey, Ernie, we want you to come and play with us in Finland. I said, well, what do you play? He said, well, we play Texas Tornadoes music, and we play the blues. I said, oh, well, that's easy. And so we will fly you here. I said, how much is that gig pay? He said, we'll give you 1,000 euros. And we'll pay for your hotel and your flight. And I'm thinking, wow, that sounds like a vacation for me.
Yeah.
A big vacation.
Yeah.
So it was the only time I ever went to Europe by myself.
Uh-huh.
Because we always went with the band. We always looked out for each other. And so I did. I flew there, and I went from here to D.C. to Copenhagen. And when I got to Copenhagen, I had to make a transfer to Helsinki. And so I was really thirsty, and I didn't want to. I was only passing through Denmark to Copenhagen, and I needed something to drink, and but I didn't want to exchange money for that. So I went into the men's room and I started drinking water from the faucet in there. And then I asked the guy. I said, "Hey, where's my transfer to Helsinki?" And he pointed. He said, "Over there." And I said, "What do you mean over there?" He said, "Over there, where it says transfer." There was 10 signs that said transfer. I said, "Yeah, but which one's going to Helsinki?" "Over there." They didn't want to speak much English. So I'm running through the airport, and I finally saw that there was a transfer to Helsinki. I jumped on the plane, and then I flew. When I got to Helsinki, I had to switch again to go to this other city called Oulu, Finland.
Okay.
And so I'm looking for this transfer. I finally got on that plane, and I was sitting next to this couple, and I pulled out my phone. Well, my phone wasn't working in Finland. It was dead. So I asked him, if I give you some American money, can you call my contact, here and pick me up there? "Oh, yeah." So they called my friend. He picked me up, and when he got to Oulu, Finland, he put me up in a really nice hotel, and they brought me reindeer stew.
Okay.
And I said, "Now, what is Santa going to think about this?" Reindeer stew. But, so the next day, I decided I was going to walk around, and I'm walking through this park, and there was all these drunk people laying on the park, and that they were drinking this Finnish vodka and stuff, And I was right next to St. Petersburg, Russia. And I'm walking and I'm thinking, what in the world am I doing here next to Russia? I really need to be home in Texas, I was really feeling homesick, But I said, I got to be crazy. I'm here by myself, But then they came and they picked me up, and they gave me the royal treatment. And I was going to back out of it. First, I didn't want to go do it. And then they sent me the poster, and my name was the biggest name on the poster. They had me as the headliner.
Oh my God!
And I went, well, I can't back out of it now. I have to go do it. So I went and I did it, and they treated me wonderful. And then they said, oh, by the way, since you're here, the University of Oulu, we got you connected. You can go there and play with the faculty and play with some of the students, and do like a clinic. I said, oh, okay. So I went, and yeah, I got paid extra money, and I met all these people, and the seafood is fabulous there in Norway. I mean, and all over Scandinavia.
Right,
seafood.
right.
I ate a lot of seafood and stuff like that. Yeah, that was quite an experience,
Yeah.
That one year that the Tornadoes and I, we played at the base of Mount Fuji, Japan. And we were all together.
You're right, the whole group, the band, yeah.
Boys. And, but we were at the base of this volcano, going like that. Other things, trips that I've done that are very memorable is I've done a couple of cruise ship tours.
Yeah.
The one I did, the first one I did, I went to San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And I cruised the Caribbean and St. Thomas, St. Martin, Virgin Gorda.
Correct.
And I played on the cruise ship, which was nice. The last one I did a few years back, I flew to Nice, France.
Mm-hmm,
and then I spent 2 nights in Monte Carlo, Monaco.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, talk about the rich people and stuff, right?
Wealth. A lot of wealth.
What am I doing in Monte Carlo, Monaco? I can't find no tacos here. So, anyway, the ship came, they picked us up, and I cruised all of Italy. So then I went down to Pompeii and walked around in the ruins of Pompeii.
The ruins, yeah.
And then we got to Sicily, and I'm walking around the streets of Sicily. And then we got at the bottom, we backed up, and we ended up in Venice. I lived in Venice for 2 nights, walking around the streets of Venice.
Sure.
And then in the middle of the night, the water taxi came, picked us up, and took us to the airport, and I flew back to Atlanta. Now, on 9/11, I was in Amsterdam, of all places.
Okay.
9/11. I got stuck there for 2 extra weeks, because all the airport, everything shut down,
Right, yes, I remember.
It was a scary thought, and I was trying to get home because I had just finished my tour. And I was afraid to get on the plane, after all that. But I had no choice.
Yeah.
I said, well, I'm just going to say my prayers, get on this plane, and I hope I get to Atlanta,
You talked about coming back home, right after the 9/11. catastrophe that we had. Talk to me about your family. Were you a married man? Children?
I've been married 6 times.
Well, good for you, mijo. Then you know exactly what you're doing.
Well,
Kids?
actually,
Kids?
yeah. Well, I have 2 grown sons.
2 grand. What is the largest group that you remember performing and you looked out and you said, oh my God, there must be thousands here? Can you think of a location?
Well, that would have been, yeah. I played at Dallas Cowboys Stadium for Farm Aid with Willie Nelson. And, of course, yeah, we went to Tornadoes and Willie Nelson. And you can actually go to YouTube, and if you type in Texas Tornadoes, Willie Nelson, Farm Aid, you'll see the video of us. You'll see the video of me playing with Willie and Faye and the Tornadoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, that was Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
Wow.
And that was
Packed.
thousands of people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ernie, tell me.
There was other ones too.
Yeah.
You know, other places we played.
I was speaking to someone who went and purchased your drumsticks. Tell me about the drumsticks that have your name on it.
Boy, you really know something.
I know a lot about you.
That's my.
I'm telling you, if you're ever looking for a stalker. Because my husband wants to buy a pair of drumsticks.
Well, I just got 40 of them just sent to me from Nashville.
Okay.
It's an endorsement deal,
Okay.
and it's a company called Innovative Percussion.
Okay.
They're based out of Nashville, and I got signed by them as an endorsement. And so the endorsement means that I get 150 pairs of sticks a year from them for free.
Okay.
As part of my endorsement, and I promote those to people that, okay, these are the sticks I use, you know. That's part of my endorsement, and then I have also a cymbal endorsement. And actually, if you go to if you go to Innovative Percussion, I'm on their webpage.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good.
You probably haven't seen that yet. If you Google my name, then it'll take you. You'll see Innovative Percussion, and then they have a little write-up on me on their website.
Mhm.
And then my cymbal company, which is the Paiste Cymbal Company, also they have me on their website.
How
So
wonderful.
I send another endorsement. I get a lot of stuff from them. I have what other endorsements I have? Oh, I have an Evans drumhead endorsement. I have I even forgot, you know. But the two of the one I like the most is my drumstick and the
cymbals.
endorsement.
Yeah.
I have drum covers, yeah. So, and I have a Yamaha drum endorsement, Yamaha drums. But Yamaha really doesn't do anything for me. I mean, I never hear from them, you know.
Yeah.
So it's fine because at this point in life, it doesn't really matter anymore. You know what I mean?
Do you have a set?
I'm just glad at what I've done already, you know.
Does he have a set to show us?
Do you have a set of drumsticks right there where you can touch right now? Set of drumsticks? Do you have a set right there close to you?
Well, I can get them. They're in my bedroom.
Oh well, no. Well, I'll look them up. You know I'm going to look them up.
You know,
Just show them off so our viewers can see. Oh, just show them to us. Oh,
that's
okay.
the company. It's there.
Perfect. Okay.
And my signature, that's my real signature.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so these are sticks, and I can get this there for sure.
Ernie, I want to thank you so very much. What a pleasure for me to even be looking at you and speaking to you. It's a true pleasure. And
It's an honor.
and
It's
what
really
Yvonne, well, mijo, pleasure. What a pleasure. You are our history. You are our districts of West Side, Edgewood's history. Thank you so very much. That's right. Here we are. Aquí estamos pataleando todavía. Con sapos. Thank you, baby, so much. Bye-bye. Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was good.